Alright everyone, welcome back to this episode of Bitcoin Trade, and just going to go over some chart analysis and some interesting things today. Let me start out with some news of interest. I got an email, and it's regarding Gift, this company right here that allows you to buy gift cards for your Bitcoins. Well, got an email. Today is pizza day, Bitcoin pizza day, and so they got some coupons for some pizza, which ironically I did order, not because it's Bitcoin pizza day or anything like that, but my wife is not feeling well and doesn't want to really cook or anything, so I saw this. This was emailed to me by Jen. This is, I guess, a picture of her or whatever. And curious as to how Bitcoin Pizza Day got started, read more. So I clicked on this link, and it takes me to this particular article. And I'm sure that many of you have heard about this or read about it. But May 22nd is Bitcoin Pizza Day. I did buy pizza with my Bitcoin. On top of that, I got some a rebate for gift points. So my $25 gift card only cost me $10. So that's how much I've been buying with gift cards. I earned enough points to get me a good discount on a pizza. And I did order two. I ordered pepperoni and meat lovers, but the original was right here. I'll pay 10,000 bitcoins for a couple of pizzas. And I guess it was a Bitcoin fan at the time named Laszlo Haines. I don't know how to say it. But not bad. It was about $40 at the time. Of course, if you take that into consideration what it is now, it'd be a $6 million pizza. So, and if you want to know what I paid for my Bitcoins, after all the discounts and everything, I paid 0.0205 Bitcoins for mine, just to let you know, for both pizzas, because I got the discount rebate off the gift card. So there you go. I hope everyone got their pizza today with their Bitcoins. So that's just the news of interest. So let's go back to chart analysis. So I hope everyone had a great week. This is Bitstamp on a 12-hour. I'm backing up to a 12-hour just so everyone can see this portion of the long downtrend, this breakout and the following of the downtrend on the top line. I guess you could draw another line here and you can kind of see where it might have ended or gone sideways and then broken out, but I left this line here because this is the real line here on the breakout, and so I've kind of been saying that it's going to range between these two lines here, these channels, or the range, and it's this particular flat low volume time frame is actually when they had the Bitcoin conference in Amsterdam. So I suspect one of the reasons was now it's just my opinion. You know, I'm not sure if this is true in any way. I didn't go to the convention or anything, but looks like there was a lot of very low volume here during that time period. And you might have thought that maybe there's a high volume because a lot of people with Bitcoins would be going and traveling and all this other stuff, but as soon as the conference is over, they must have heard a lot of good news. A lot of people must have heard a lot of great news going on, and as soon as that conference is over, the price of Bitcoin, the initial breakout was this little line here, and then the second day it really started gaining momentum. Takes a little breather, goes again. This is a 12 hours, so this is on the next day. So all this pretty much happened in a 24 time frame. These two right here were on the next day here. So it's really hit up, and it's kind of slowed down right here, right around this area. It's maybe taking a little break, depending on what it does. If it can break out of this, just the fact that it's done this much is a very strong trend. Of course, I wish I can say that it'll just go up and then just go straight back to 1,000 by tomorrow, but it's probably not going to be that quick. It's all going to depend, because this is going to become a resistance now, and it has to break through that and break above this high, which is around 550, and it has to stay above it, and then it may wiggle around here just above it just a little bit, take a breather, but it has to continue to go up to be back on an uptrend. I'm not sure if that's realistic, but it may break through, hover up top a little bit, come down a little bit, and then work its, wiggle its way back up to an uptrend. So good news on that. Now this one is telling me a different. BitC is always, this is BitC here on, again, a 6 hour. So BitC is always telling me something different, and of course this is the conference time frame, which happens to stay right underneath this resistant line, and as soon as the conference was over, you could see that it broke through, and then once it stayed up and was able to break through again, it just kept on going. And then on this particular chart, you'll see that it hit right here and decided to slow down. And so this trend may be over or not, depending what it does. We'll see in the next 24 hours, next 2 to 3 days, what happens. If it starts going down and not able to break through, just look for a range back in this range again, for whatever this is, 450 to 420 or whatever. I'm sorry, 450 to 520. So look for ranging in that way, but instead of trending down, what we may see is a trending up. And of course, if it breaks through, here's the other resistance on BitC that's finally showing up. Of course, it's on a 12 hour. So if it breaks here, the next part will be right here. If you look how things work out, let me see here. Look at that. Okay, so this represents the next point right here to break through. So as it's breaking up, you'll see that it's stopping here, which is at this point. And if it breaks out of this, and by the time this kind of comes down a little bit, it'll probably be around this point here. And so the next point will be to hit up here, and then it'll take a breather, and then it'll break out of that, and then of course you'll just keeps breaking, which was once a support, now is a resistance, now is a resistance, it's a support. So anyways, it'll just have to break through here to go up any further, unless so otherwise it'll just bounce back and up and down around here, in my opinion. And then Bitfin, I'm just following what the lines tell me, what I'm seeing. And so this is the original breakout, and see it's followed up, gone sideways, gone back up again. And then Coinbase doing very similar, except the lines are a little more different here on the top side. It's actually reached it and slowed down. Well, we'll see what happens. BitC and Coinbase, this Coinbase also on a 12 hour seems like it's pulling back right now, but we'll see in the next 2 days, see what happens. And if it goes below, if it can't break through that, look for downward pressure, and within this price range here, these two price ranges here, if it breaks above it, again, look for this particular price point here around 600. So there you go, finally a nice breakout, going on the upside. Feels good, especially if you're holding on to a lot of Bitcoins. You just increased your value. So, and then, oh yeah, let's take a look at this. Everything is green, very, very green. So if you were just to go on this indicator right here alone, what you'll notice is if I just go back up here, when it broke out of here, it was green, and as it's coming down, it turned red again. Now it's hit up in green. If you just see, if you take that as an indicator, you'll see that it's turning green, going red, turning green, going red. So at least you know it's not constantly being red because it's going on a very, very long downtrend. Now you're seeing a little green, red, green, and depending on this trend that's happening right now, we'll see if it continues to stay green or go back into red. But you'll see that coming, when a trend starts to change, you'll start seeing a lot of this going green to red, and being mixed. Some exchanges being above, some exchanges being below their 30-day average. So when you see that, or when I at least saw that, it kind of told me it may be a turnaround or an uptrend breaking out of a downtrend and back into an uptrend. But we'll see in the next couple of days, because it may turn red just as fast as it turned green. But that's an indication that it's just, shifting trend, in my opinion. So, which is good, I guess. And then here we go. This 1 hour, 5-day on a 10 and 25 weighted average, and there you go. It just seems to just bounce, settle, bounce, and then maybe settle, and then we'll see if it bounces one more time up. If it doesn't, it'll just, of course, it'll turn over and go down. We'll see how far it goes down. So, and there you go on this particular. I put Bitfin, or let me see, no, BitC. Let's see what Bitstamp. A little different. It's still like this portion right here is still showing a very strong uptrend, constant uptrend. Nice flow going up. See how they're just parallel? It's not extreme like this, where this has to kind of slowly follow. It meets up right around here and then keeps going. But the way, looks like the way they're going, they're just parallel going straight up. So it's a very consistent uptrend, looks like. But it could turn over anytime, because it looks like the amount of strength, it's kind of petering out a little bit. But it's maintaining a nice trending upward. And then let's go back to Bitfin. Bitfin. There you go. Same thing. Very similar. A little different. It's kind of really showing here the breakout. Really showing. And then it squeezed here and then breaking out again. So, just get an idea of the flow of the trades. So that concludes this episode. I don't have too much to talk about. Let me see some other things, if there is anything else. Okay, so I want to talk about this article here in particular, and I don't know if anybody knows who this particular person is, but actually, believe it or not, I don't know this person, but the reason I only know this person by name, Gavin Newsom, is because back, I think over 10 years ago, when I was back in California, he was one of the first mayors to grant same-sex marriage license. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. What I'm saying, I'm just saying that's how I remember the person. That's how I know of this person. And I was just having to be in the area, living in California. I listened to a lot of news radio, and between I think San Francisco has an all news radio. That's all they do is report news. New York has a radio station. That's all they do is report news. So I kind of like news a lot, if you haven't noticed. Anyways, I remember an interview on this news station with Gavin Newsom, and he finally won the mayoral election. He had to be a runoff and all that. I kind of remember it because it was on the news radio that I listened to all the time, and it kind of focused on San Francisco. But I remember what he said one time, which back then it sounded like it was the end of his political career, but he mentioned that he would never become president because of what he did in San Francisco, because the allowing the same-sex marriage at that time. And that was over 10 years ago, and at that time, I have to admit, a lot of sentiment was against this this idea. Well, 10 years later now, you've seen a lot of it. New York, someplace else. I think New York has this. A lot of places are offering same-sex marriages now. And if you click on the article, matter of fact, I'll just do it here since I got a little bit of time here. It's and he's not the only one, because there's other politicians out there, but this particular quote right here. Let me see. This particular quote here, my chin is out there for people to say, this guy is a nut. What's he doing? I've been there before, I'm ready for it. And I could tell you from my experience on some of the things that Mr. Newsom has talked about, I have to admit he's pretty right on that. He has stuck his neck out there many times as a leader, and doing things that have, I guess, at that time been very unpopular. But once you know it, as time goes on, polls are showing that people are more open to same-sex marriages. I'm not saying, again, it's not. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. What I'm saying is, this particular politician has done a lot of things at the time would seem to kill your political career, but at the same time he's done it in a way that apparently he's still in politics. And you know, the idea that you can be for a new idea and not be able to become president is out the window nowadays. So even the current president has nothing against same-sex marriages. So, you know, a lot of things have changed in 10 years. So it just goes to show you that what things are being done today, if you give it enough time, will now become an accepted ideal, accepted way of life. Who knows what the future will hold? That's kind of my point of showing all this. And I actually, I don't really know him, but I know him from his interviews. And I have to say, I might just throw $100 at him. I might just throw $100 worth of Bitcoin at him. I've listened to his debates when he was doing the runoff. I've listened to him talk in interviews as mayor of San Francisco. Now I'm reading about him in this particular way, so I find that very interesting. And let me see what else here. There's other things that are going on as well, since I have a little bit more time. But let me see who else is. Okay, here it is. Since I touched on Gavin Newsom here, I might as well touch on some other people just to make it fair. And so here's CoinDesk also made a article about it, but a little bit more. It talks about all the politicians here. This is one. Of course, I did an episode on that. Let me see, what's his name? This is actually in my state. I might throw $100 at him too, or throw some Bitcoins, one or the other. There you go, Greg Abbott for Governor of Texas. And then this gentleman as well for Georgia. I see a lot of these people are from, seems like this one, let me see, Texas, Georgia, they're all southern states. Louisiana, another southern state. You know. Again, this gentleman's accepting Bitcoin. I might just throw a Bitcoin at him. Actually, $100 would be like a quarter of a Bitcoin. Actually, less than that right about now. It's about 500 something dollars, so it'd be less than a quarter of a Bitcoin. So I could throw less than a quarter of a Bitcoin at these people. Virginia, a place that I'm interested in. I'm actually very interested in Virginia. And then here another one. This gentleman as well in Colorado. Very progressive state over there. So I might throw less than a quarter of a Bitcoin. And you know, technically there's what? How many people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could just spend 1 Bitcoin on all these people. And here's another one. Here's Gavin Newsom. And then that's it. So actually, oh, here's another one. Brian Parker, candidate for mayor of Oakland. Oakland and San Francisco side by side. They're going to be doing a lot of things, I guess, in regards to Bitcoin, in my opinion. And oh yeah, Mr. Steve Stockman. I think he's around here in Houston area. I think he's a representative for Clear Lake. I'm not sure. I've heard he's from Clear Lake, but not too sure. So there you go. There's, I could maybe one and a half Bitcoins I'll just throw at these people. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, that concludes this episode here. Let's go end it off on this chart. Looks like we've gone down just a little bit more from what since I've talked. Anyways, if you feel free to like, dislike, leave a comment. Feel free to also do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.